Morning, Jilly.
Morning, Mikey.
Mikey.
Mikey, well, if I'm Jilly, morning, Mike. Yeah.
So, day 14. I can't believe it. We've been walking. We walked 14 days. We actually started Tuesday, 2 weeks ago. It's not Tuesday, is it? No, it's Monday. So, we're walking from Burgos, having spent a night in Burgos, having walked to Burgos. Why am I saying all this? Burgos is quite a stage. It's almost like a third the way through. And that was actually a really nice walk yesterday, wasn't it? Except for when we got into Burgos, we decided to walk around the cathedral. Which,
we did a tour of the cathedral.
Did a tour of the cathedral.
The last thing we should have done, we should have been sitting in a bar or something with our feet up. We did the tourist bit.
And Burgos Cathedral is something else. And those that follow the Tartarian history, it was probably thrown up in a couple of weeks in 1600 something. But very elaborate building. And we're heading out of Burgos now, having just had breakfast. And
we had a lovely breakfast. I had a Greg's pasty of tuna and croissants. And we're eating so much at breakfast because we've walked so far. I think we'll come back like barrels, actually. Everyone says you'll lose weight, but we really need to it is like we don't know when the next food will be there, so we have to eat whenever we go.
And drink as much coffee as you possibly can.
Yeah.
But we're actually just starting into the Mesota, which is the Spanish desert. So I think Jill is waiting for a camel to jump out.
Look, Jeanette called us hotties. Jeanette has just messaged me saying, "Hello, you hotties." Thank you, Jeanette. I quite like that. And the 83-year-old man, I think he's ahead of us, actually. She asked us.
It probably is, actually.
Where he was. I think he's ahead of us. He's lovely.
What's his name? Hagner. We had a really lovely chat with him yesterday, and he's very generous in spirit, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a sweetie.
Yeah.
But the Mesota, as I was saying, about camels jumping out, I'm not sure how much desert there really is, but we know it's going to be a bit tricky. Unfortunately, it's quite lovely weather. It did actually almost rain on us the day before yesterday, didn't it? Well, it did actually rain on us.
It did rain. The thunder, it was like huge. It was really loud.
Oh, the rolling thunderstorm that we had when we were in the dormitory with 7 people dormitory with no room to swing a cat. No room to swing a cat, literally. No room to swing a cat.
When it thundered, I glared at Mike as though it was his fault. Look, it's thundering. Yeah, the dormitory, we finally got to a little auberge.
Well, that was... That was amazing, wasn't it? Because the next morning, it was almost like a Germanic pub or bar, little thing run by Antonio and his wife. And his wife was very insistent that Antonio did everything in the order that she wanted him to do it. And bearing in mind that they were probably in their late 60s or 70s, not adios, why did I say adios? Was it Antonio's? Do this, Antonius, do that, all in Spanish. It was very
entertaining.
Very entertaining, because he would mutter under his breath something like, "I've only got one bloody pair of hands," which was glorious. I don't know where we're going.
We're just not sure which way to go.
So
we've run out of signs. This is what happens when you run out of signs. You end up in a dead-end street or something.
No, it's all right. The arrow's there.
The arrow's there. We found an arrow. That's good.
So Antonio, do this, Antonio, do that. It was hilarious, and he looked really beaten up. But it was a lovely bar, wasn't it? We had a lovely meal there the night before and picked up breakfast. So as everybody comments on who's done this, you tend to walk 10k, and then stop for breakfast, which is particularly lovely.
And our legs are easing a little bit, you know.
Are they?
The hamstrings are not pulling, so when you walk, you can actually walk. you know, it feels as though you're really walking and you don't have to think about the fact you're walking anymore, you know, which is actually quite nice. What is that?
Tractor.
It's our supplies. Mike's
Transport.
Which is actually quite good. One thing we were hoping to be able to enjoy the evenings a lot more and do more, but we're too tired. We're in bed by 9, because we're up at 6:30 or 6. So hopefully that will change. We'll see. But if not, we're focused on this walk. And we've noticed lots of young people. I don't know if we said this in the last video. Unfortunately, they stormed ahead of us. We met a French comedian. He was a comedian,
French stand-up comedian.
He didn't look very funny at all, actually.
No, he wasn't. I did ask him. I was so tempted to say, "Go on, crack us a joke." But I don't think our French would have been up to it.
And lots of young people who had to stop because their feet were blistered and they had the wrong footwear and they were so full of, really wanting vim and vigour at the beginning that hopefully they'll heal and carry on and catch us up, which is something, and then also that lovely bar in the middle of the forest with the chap at the Oasis bar.
Oh, the Oasis bar. The Purple Turtles are a Spanish group which do covers of all sorts of things. So, and the one that set us in fits of laughter was Hotel California.
And it was
all
awful.
in broken English
music.
every time of year.
It was so bad.
And he was delighted with it, wasn't he? He said, "Oh, they're the best band ever." He loved them. Didn't
and
they?
then Walk on the Wild Side. They ruined it. And in the end, I started giggling in the middle of this forest, and people didn't know what I was laughing at. It was just so mad to be in the middle of nowhere. And then there's this chap playing all this loud, really bad music. And I was saying to people, this is not English music. People sitting having their can of whatever.
Apologising.
I was apologising.
For the massacring of her thing.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
What was the life lesson? Interesting how some of the very obvious life lessons sort of come to a fore, don't they? They become very obvious. One of them is obviously the...
Go to bed early.
Early to bed, early to rise makes man something wise. But one of them, of course, is the rucksack as a metaphor for your life. Don't carry too much, which is so true, and it's a metaphor which is sort of we're finding other people talking about quite often. Just don't carry all this crap you don't need in your life going forward, which is so true, because you start actually getting rid of all sorts of little things. You think, well, that adds up.
But I'm not letting go of my moisturiser.
But Julie doesn't let go.
That's still there, and my lipstick still there.
So obviously that is an important element of life. And what was the other one today? It was not looking too far ahead. So of course a lot of people get sort of security of life about knowing what is coming up ahead. So people have lots of sort of reference books and which is lovely for history and things, but also gives you maps of exactly the undulation of the grounds and how far away towns and villages are, which in actual fact you find for some it's not actually that great to be that well informed. So I think that we've rather found the prospect of you just actually look in the short-term distance and say, right, well, we're going to get to the next town. It doesn't matter whether it's uphill, downhill, how far away it is, or what the ground's like. And you just...
just going to get knocked over,
just
actually.
Get run
We're walking
through
through a housing estate before we actually come out the other end. Looks very pretty. Oh, there you go. There are cars. It is civilization. We're coming out of it actually at the moment. But yes.
But just don't look too far ahead, because it doesn't matter what the ups and downs present us. As in life, one doesn't have to look that far ahead. You just deal with what's in front of you, which is what we're finding. I'm very sorry, miss.
A lot of people have actually said to us the real journey begins when you finish the Camino. Oh, which is
Great.
very interesting. But it is true, perhaps. You know, you've had these experiences, and then the real journey begins, which is interesting. Why don't you show them that lovely view? Look what we're looking at now.
So not quite a housing estate, but the housing estate as such is very small. So that's a route ahead.
I hope we don't have to walk to the top of that.
I don't know where the desert
Maybe.
starts. And the camels.
We were talking about going up one hill and down the other, and how every time we see a big hill, we think, oh, there'll be plenty of those.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting, those simple metaphors, those sort of simple life lessons. And I suppose when you're exposed to it like this, or something comes to hand, you go, oh yes. And you think, well, I know these, I learnt those years ago. But quite simply, I presume we haven't learnt them really. And then you do something like this and you go, yeah, just lighten your life load and just deal with what's in front of you and not worry about everything else, which of course I'm not doing at all.
And on a very spiritual level, everyone as well, I am apologising for these two top presenters that we are becoming. We've even got people on the Camino Way watching us as well. But these top presenters are wearing the same clothes every day. Now, if we really were serious, we'd have changed our wardrobe, so you'd be looking at something different. Landmark. I hope we're advertising. I hope you can sponsor us for this, but wearing the same clothes
Oh dear.
every day.
So who else have we missed? We've lost, we haven't lost at all, but Christian and Hannes, his dog, are taking a few days break, so we're going to be able to sync with him. Agner, mature gentleman,
The 83-year-old.
is probably way ahead and we'll catch up again. Some people you see all the time, some people you don't.
We've just met an English man called Chris who talked non-stop. He did the first.
It's brilliant. Kept
Yeah, he
us
was
greatly
lovely. Kept us
amused.
amused for the first section, then
Which
went
is
off.
lovely.
Yeah, lovely people. Lovely people.
So what else have we done? So apart from Burgos and the cathedral that was built in a couple of weeks, along with an extraordinary gold altar, which really does, it's very much like Prague and the very Catholic, strong Catholic countries where they have these amazing artifacts to support their Christian religion, which of course is completely in contrast to what was intended to be. Anyway, what else we learned?
We're talking about the way of St James. St James, we haven't talked about this before, but St James was one of the apostles, and he was the half-brother
Like,
of Jesus, because Joseph of Arimathea was married before, apparently, allegedly. So James was one of the inner circle of the apostles, or the disciples.
inner circle.
Yeah.
Did he
was
have
an
inner circle?
He did. It was very, very ice.
Jesus had inner circles.
And apparently he was born in 5 BC, and he died 44 AD, and it was King Herod who had him beheaded, so he was the first martyred disciple. Actually, I thought John the Baptist had his head. Anyway.
Maybe
so-
he might have been in a circle.
He was.
He
John.
was in a circle.
He was in a circle. But the pilgrims carried his body to Santiago de Compostela, and that's where we're going on this pilgrimage. Where they
What's the
carried his
other?
body.
That's the other thing we
to the
learned
church.
as well. Not just so much that, it was learning about when people say where you're going. You don't do we're going to Santiago. You go, we intend
No, I go.
to.
We're going to Santiago in a very British way.
With a rucksack on our back.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look very deserty here at the moment, does it?
We're going to have to break
Didn't you
into-
ask somebody about the desert the other day and they turned around and tried to sell you a cream bun or something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What's that?
Got you desserts and deserts, right?
Oh yes. Yes, I was looking up the desert in Spain, and I got all these pudding recipes, you know, so it's
Oh,
really
that's-
hard. It's hard for me to do research, I think. Okay.
Right. We're going to walk across a desert that hasn't really seemed to have started yet. And the sun is not blazing, which is lovely. So we shall see. We'll see you later. Buen camino.
Buen camino. Bye.